What's up, guys? Rob D at Boiling Point LTC. I have not done a Litecoin price update video in a very long time. I've been pretty busy. There's so many people out there doing technical analysis that it kind of gets repetitive, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what I've been looking at. I tweeted this out before based on the RSI of Litecoin on the weekly. I have 3 levels down here on the weekly RSI. Alright, guys, so the first one is going to be weekly. That's going to be the middle one, somewhere around 46 or so on the weekly RSI. This isn't going to be taken into consideration on the daily chart. That's for these upper and lower levels. But for the weekly, we're looking at 46. If you guys can see, once we had our peak in, towards the end of 2013, after we had our correction and we tried to go back up into a bear market, as soon as we broke back over that 46 level is pretty much when the bear market began. And then this whole time was an accumulation phase. You see how it bounces pretty much in this 46 to pretty much 46, 47 range, somewhere around there. We had 3 bounces, 1 right on the line. The other 3 were slightly above it. And then we went parabolic towards the end of 2017. But let me show you where those where they line up date-wise. So if you look at the first one, once we broke over that 46 range on the RSI, that was the first week of June. Let's take a look at where we were with the price. First week of June, look what happened. We broke out of that diagonal resistance. No coincidence there, guys. Now let's take a look at the next one, which is from a few months ago. Alright, so we'll look at the RSI, 46. We pretty much got rejected off of it the first week of February, came back down slightly, and then finally broke out and over. So first week of February on price puts us right here on the breakout. This was actually the rejection of the 46 RSI, but we did break out very strongly on price. All right, so take a look at these 2 cycles. Very, very similar cycles. High peak, long correction. Correction lasted about, actually the peak was about 623 days prior to halving. And this peak was pretty much 623 days from halving. Alright. And we are in that same general area now. This cycle's a little bit quicker though, because if you can see here, we pretty much came back up to that resistance level here and got rejected. Actually, we didn't really hit it, but we were close enough. Came back down for a cool off and then got that lower low on the price. And then on the weekly, we got some bullish divergence. So we went lower on price, right? And we went higher with the weekly RSI. Just ever so slightly, just enough to give us that divergence. So we got that, and then we ended the bear market. We came out of it. We had a nice price increase. We wicked the bottom floor, which was here. All right, guys. We pretty much did the same thing here, right? This was our floor, our 100 level. We wicked in there, and then we're coming back down. However, I personally do not believe that this was the halvening pump. Alright, I've been following this chart since December. One of my other videos, I pretty much called for a $100 Litecoin followed by a $45 accumulation channel. However, after the cycle sped up and we pretty much bypassed the weeks of the first week of March 2015 to, I would say, almost June. really, maybe at the end of May. We pretty much bypassed about a month and a half of time. If we would have done the same thing this time around, it would have looked something like this. We would have came up, right? Came back down, got rejection again, came back down, made a lower low on price, came back up, and then popped off, right? Like that. Rejection, come back down, and then into this channel. All right, and then this trend line would have been like that, and that's where we would have broken, just like we did here. Very close to the bottom trend line here. So that one actually touched it. This one I don't think would have gotten that low. That's $11. I was calling for somewhere between $17 and $18, just based on percentages of how much this dropped versus what this could have possibly done. So now with our faster cycle in play, I honestly believe that we can possibly see somewhere in the, let me pull up Coinbase, somewhere in the $190 range. Alright, so here I have the RSI again on the daily. The Coinbase chart obviously isn't very long because it got put on Coinbase in 2016. So it's not going to be as long as the last chart we were using. But nonetheless, it's a pretty good indicator. This is where I had those other levels, 60 on the high side and about 40, 41 on the low side. As you guys can see, when we were in a bull market, we pretty much stayed from 40 and up. Our correction period was 60 and below. And now we're back to our 40 and above cycle. So we pretty much, we came up, we wicked 100, came back down. We tested 40 and we got a bounce, which was here. This was our 40 RSI bounce at $64, and we came back up, and now we're putting in, you know, some good price movement. This trend line, I mean, it's all, you could pretty much draw it wherever the hell you want to. There's a lot of people that use wicks. A lot of people use bodies. I try to generally get as much of as many candles as possible in the trend line. So if I have it up here, you know, I'm only really including 1, 2, 3, 4 candles there. If I bring it down a little bit lower, I can get, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, a bunch of candles in here, accumulation. But, I mean, it's all for, you know, how people look at the, you know, look at the trends and stuff. So I don't necessarily put too much weight in those pattern, you know, those diagonal downtrend resistances. But nonetheless, you can kind of put it anywhere in this range, and it looks as if we broke it, no matter where you really put it. Our volume is picking up nicely. Yesterday's candle, we had the most bullish volume since, let's see, since April 6th. All right. So we spiked up at the beginning of April. Ever since then, we've been kind of, you know, slow sell-off and accumulation. Let me pull up the Bollinger Bands real quick. I'll show you that. So our middle Bollinger Band, the yellow line, is actually the 21-day moving average. And I also have the 50-day moving average up there in green. So we were kind of fighting between the 20, you know, the 21 and the 50. We were squeezing down real tight in there. And, you know, every day we would basically get above it. And either the same day or the very next day we would go back below that 20, but bounce off the 50. So now it looks like we got the play where we bounced off the 50. We broke the 21, and now, you know, now we're pretty much staying above it, hopefully. But the Bollinger Bands are getting nice and tight, and I would expect a move at least, I would say within the next, you know, next week or so, at least. you know, a week at the latest. They're getting pretty tight. The weekly bands are kind of stretched out a little bit still. So look at that. Yeah, so they're just starting to, you know, they've been tightening up for a few weeks now. So that's a good indicator there. So I definitely think we have some more room to go up. That's why I like that target of 190. 100 was my target, but I honestly did not think that we would skip that final low on Litecoin. You know, that would have put us somewhere around March, April, and then we would have peaked in maybe June, July, like late June, early July at 100, and then accumulated back down into the 40s, maybe even wick down into the high 30s into July and up, you know, up until halvening. But since we kind of sped that cycle up a little bit, I think that we can potentially get up into this 190-200 range. Let me show you guys. Where was it that I was? Oh, I was on the weekly. Let me show you the weekly here. So we could potentially be somewhere in like this area here now. So we got that nice week where we wicked up into 100, and then we had 3 weeks of sell-off. This one we had a nice week from about $30 to 40. You know, that was a nice 33% increase, and then we had a nasty bearish engulfing candle right after that. But if you guys look at the price drop from here down to there, it's about 28%. If you take the price drop from here down to here, it's about 29%, 29-30%. So if we basically take these 3 weeks, throw it into that candle, you're looking at the same, just about the same drop. So if we're somewhere in this area now, right, where we're getting a couple, you know, 2-3 weeks of slow, steady movement upwards, and then we get that pop up, and then a retest, which could possibly be like a 115, 120, back down to 100 for support, and then up into 190 area. So basically this was a drop of about 20%, 115 to 100, you know, maybe even somewhere about there, I would say. You know, maybe 120 and then a retest of 100. So that could be something to look out for. You know, guys, this is not financial advice, obviously, but you know, patterns don't always replicate each other exactly, but they do often rhyme. So there's definitely a lot of rhyming in Litecoin right now. So the weekly, we're sitting at about 52, 56 on the RSI now, which is a nice, it's a nice level. Definitely a bullish level. So we're neutral to bullish. I think we're leaning more bullish now, and I do definitely think that we hit that target of about 190. So if we do make that move, if this one bearish engulfing candle is the equivalent of these 3, and then we make this move from there up to there, we could see something like hit that 50. We got 240%, 243%. We're looking at, you know, 225 possibly. So I think we get up to about 190. That's my target, which is probably going to hit this trend line. You know, let's move this out. Let's push that trend line out a little bit further. And then let's take a time analysis of how long it took this move to go. So we got our first bullish to our top. It's 11 bars, 11 weeks. And we go from here, 11 weeks out, puts us the middle of July. So if that follows suit, look where we land, 189. So I don't think we're going to follow exactly, but I'm taking 190 plus or minus, you know, $10, $15 or so. So let's call it 180. Let's call it 170 to 225 range as our top before halvening, the halvening. I think it's halvening. That's probably how most people say it. So that would be our top. Let's call it an even. See, because we have rejection here. So but that's in a correction phase. So, you know, this is also a very key zone here too. This zone is actually, there's a lot going on in this zone. So that, I think that's our top right there. All right, guys, so 180, 190, somewhere around there. And then we get that dump down right at halvening. And we go retest the 113, you know, like the basically 100 to 115 range again, which would probably be the bottom of this. Yeah, because halvening is here. Your halvening line is right about there, August 12th, somewhere about there. So we get that pop here, 185, 190, and then a correction down to the top of that, which would line up perfectly with the last cycle. Time analysis, price analysis, trend analysis, it's all fitting together nicely with the last halvening pump and cycle. So yeah, so I really like those targets, guys. We don't have to hit them exactly, you know, and we don't have to hit them exactly on time as well. But I definitely think we're going to be somewhere in that late June, early July, 180 to 200 range, and then, you know, late July, early to mid-August, going to retest that $100 range again. And, you know, if we accumulate here for a while, I mean, this is definitely longer. So if we accumulate from halvening to the time we hit that trend line again, you're looking at 553 days, but this one's a lot longer. This one you're looking at 820, you know, 800 days. So it's, you know, it's like 50% longer there. So, and that puts us way past, you know, that puts us basically where I think our top is going to be in end of 2021. I think that's going to be our top. I mean, it's possible. If you look at this one here, this was a crazy increase in price in just 7 weeks. And that went up, you know, that Litecoin went up 20,000% in 7 weeks. And the same thing here. I mean, this was a pretty steep incline. Say even here, this is, you know, 1,300%. And that's close to 7 weeks too. This would be, let's see, about 5,000% increase. So that's my target for the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. That's a steep, you know, I think we're still very early in the game, but I think we're too mature to make moves like that anymore, where you're going to pump, you know, 10,000% in a 2-month span. I think, you know, with more adoption happening and, you know, things like that, big money, Fidelity and all that stuff getting in, I think we're past the days of those insane, you know, runs, you know, 1 or 2 month runs where you're just like, you know, face melting pumps. So I could see, you know, more of a steady growth on this cycle as opposed to something that happened over, you know, over in the last the last cycle here with the long accumulation and then the crazy pump. So I could see something like, you know, like that or whatever, touch back down, you know, and then just kind of all the dips get bought up, you know, and then at the end we finally make a crazy blow off top. So that would actually be, you know, that would be a strong move. That's a much stronger move than this move here, because there's no support built there. That's why Litecoin crashed 90+% down to $22. If you look at the Bitcoin charts from those times, like the BLX chart, so if we look at that, you can see this was a halvening, I believe, for Bitcoin. And then look, it was just insane pump. But then the last halvening was, I guess like in 2016 at some time. I believe it was, it might have actually been right here. No. I don't remember exactly where it was. I think somewhere around here. But look, this was a much better, nicer move, and Bitcoin held its price much better. All right, so I'm not saying we're not going to get 60-70% downside ever again, but Bitcoin didn't come crashing down 90% like Litecoin did after its second halving. So that's something to really look forward to. It only gets better from here on out. It gets more stable, gets more liquid, and we're in at a really great time. I think once we break $100, I don't think you'll ever see Litecoin under $100 again, and that could be within the next 4 to 6 weeks or so. So if we do get that pump to 115 over the next week or so, and then a retest of 100 before heading up to my target of 180 to 200, that'll be, you know, that's going to be it, I think. Which credit to Crypto Charts on Twitter. They are he's at Charts Crypto, I believe. He's been live streaming every day. I want to give him a shout out because I get some really good information from him, and he's, you know, we're pretty much on the same wavelength. He's far superior trader than me, but you know, I pretty much you know, we got the same ideas of what's going on over the next couple years. But actually this might have been it here, October, and that was a drop. Yeah, I think it was here, because it got the halvening pump, it came back down, and then nice gradual swing up. That's what we want to see. We don't want sideways and then a 2-month pump. It's not going to last. It's built on stilts. We want this, so that the next time Litecoin comes down, it's not coming down from $2,800 to $100. We want it to come down from $2,800 to $600, $700. You know, we don't want it. We don't want those 90% drops. I mean, hell, I'll sell off at 2,800 and then buy back at 100. I would love that. I really would. But for long-term growth, it's not healthy. So I think once we get the second halvening, we're going to be in much better shape with Litecoin, and you know, we'll go from there. I'll keep you guys updated mostly on Twitter, because I don't make a lot of these videos. But so check me out on Twitter at boilingpointltc. And right here on YouTube at everythinglitecoin.com. Everything Litecoin is my channel, and the website is everythinglitecoin.com. And really quick shout out to Dan, Crypto Capital Venture, and his Launchpad Foundation. If you guys don't know about this, it's going to be a 50-50 event where we are, because I used to do the lottery. A lot of you guys who are subscribers know about the lottery. So I stopped doing that in February. You know, I took some time off, and I've wanted to give back somehow. So I thought, you know, I got together with three of my good buddies, Poseidon Lou, Zog, Benji Jojo, and we decided that this would be a fantastic opportunity to raise money for Dan and Sarah and the Launchpad Foundation. So if you're not familiar with what's going on there, just head over to cryptocapitalventure.com or check Crypto Recruiter out on Twitter. Head over to the Launchpad Foundation, check it out. They're doing some awesome work for inner city youth in the Philly area, and we're doing a 50-50 event for him. We're gonna you buy tickets $5 each. You can buy as many as you want. We're basically gonna be running the same setup as the lotto. So if I can keep it under 50 people, I don't want to keep it under 50 people. I want it as many people as possible. But if it is under 50 people, we'll be doing the lotto wheel like we used to do. And if it's more than 50 people, I will have to come up with a fun and exciting way to do that. Maybe like a lotto number drawing or something like that. But it's going pretty good so far. We have 6.69 Litecoin in the wallet. We have about 13 people who have donated, have bought their tickets. So check it out, guys. Go on everythinglitecoin.com. You'll be brought to this page. And Launchpad Foundation tickets are the second item up on the top. Click on that. Buy your tickets. The winner's getting 50% of the pot. But wait, there's more. Nick from Hodl Fuel donated 2 incredible prizes on behalf of the Litecoin community. These are the 30 for 30 banner that he used at this event in Washington, D.C., along with the plaque. And that is signed by Charlie Lee, John Kim, and a number of other Litecoin family members. So grab your tickets, guys. It's going for a really good cause. You could win a ton of Litecoin. I think this is easily going to go over 20 Litecoin, which would be a 10 Litecoin pot for the winner. Some really cool prizes. Check it out. And good luck to everybody. I'll catch you guys later. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.